Graph y equals sine 2 times x plus pi over 4. Do we have a vertical shift? Remember, vertical shifts come from adding or subtracting a value on the outside of our function. So let's compare this to our basic form. The basic form is y equals c plus a times sine b times x minus d. And c, what we've added or subtracted, represents the vertical shift. We have not added or subtracted anything on the outside of the function, so we have no vertical shift, and the middle of our graph will be at the x-axis, where y equals 0. Our amplitude, we don't have anything multiplied times the front of the function, so our amplitude is an implied 1. Phase shift, we can see that on the inside of our function we have added a pi over 4, so the phase shift will be minus pi over 4. Remember, it happens in the opposite direction of the sign. And we are multiplying on the inside of the function, we are multiplying by 2. So that is my b. So since b is 2 pi divided by b, we get a period of pi. So let's figure out where our graph starts and ends. We're going to take the input of our function and put it between 0 and 2 pi. We're going to solve for x. So we can divide by 2, 0 less than or equal to x plus pi over 4, 2's cancel, and then we're less than or equal to pi. And then we want to subtract pi over 4 from all three parts. And that gives minus pi over 4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to, we need a common denominator, which would be 4, so we'll call this 4 pi over 4, and we end up with 3 pi over 4. So now we know where we start and where the graph ends. Let's find our midpoints. We're going to add the two endpoints together and then multiply by a half. If I add these together, I get 2 pi over 4. And then multiplying by a half, this reduces to be pi over 4. And then adding together these 2 points, minus pi over 4 plus pi over 4 is 0. And then halving that will still be 0. So let's put in our y-axis, and this will be our 0. So there's another one of our points, our midpoints. And then here, pi over 4 plus 3 pi over 4 is 4 pi over 4, and then multiplying by a half, this reduces to be pi over 2. So we have our 3 midpoints, and we have no vertical shift, so the middle of our graph is at the x-axis, and our amplitude is 1, so let's draw in our value of 1. And we're dealing with the sine, the basic shape of sine. It's the usual shape, so we will start at the starting point at minus pi over 4 at the x-axis. We'll go up to our max at 0. Then at the third midpoint, we will come back down to the x-axis. At the fourth point, we come down to minus 1. And then at 3 pi over 4, we are back to the x-axis. So here's one period, a 1 period interval of our sine function.